Okay. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Wait,
we all recording?
We are all recording.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, so.
All right, welcome to the Yeahyers podcast. We got me, Caden Lee, slow cuber from Washington. We got Jacob and JP. They can introduce themselves as well.
Yeah, so I'm a clock main.
Yeah. I'm main triangle right now. I'm learning L5E.
And I do
Wait,
5
L5E?
blind on the side.
Wait, what's up?
L5E. It's when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you do one off to solve
Not a
it.
thing.
He created it, so...
I also use 12 stealth for 3 blind, so... I don't know if it is, but I won't be surprised if it is.
I think he's actually creating it, so
I like
yeah.
it. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm developing it, okay?
Yeah, 5 blind is treating me well. Get pretty good almost successes. Sometimes I solve a center. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. Good stuff.
Relatable.
We kind of have, like, our text thing, right? And we kind of just talked. And it was, like, we kept having, like, crazy conversations. And it was, like, this is kind of entertaining. So, like, here we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro, let's create a podcast all cubers can listen to, or not.
So, yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. JP, all you.
Okay, so Yeahyers is an animal, and it's not an animal that you'd necessarily guess. You might think Yeahyers is an elephant, a giraffe, maybe a dolphin. No, Yeahyers is a firefly. Now, the lore behind Yeahyers is that apparently there's a pearl that some crab named Treasure created or something, and then he took the pearl from Treasure because Treasure's the antagonist. So now Yeahyers is gooded, and he's like basically our idol. That's why we named this podcast after him.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
And where did we first encounter Yeahyers? Like, I kind of forget.
We were doing a Let's Cube, and I was using my sister's account.
Oh, yeah, and her name
And my
was
sister
Yeahyers.
created Yeahyers, yeah.
Yeahyers good, and we're like, who the crap is Yeahyers gooded?
And it's just evolved from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
Humble beginnings.
All right.
Right.
You were saying something, JP, about ZB earlier.
Whoa. Smooth transition.
Just we're getting
Transition.
right into the deep of it,
Right into the meat of it.
the meat of it, into the thick of it.
Shut up, bro.
Oh, wow. Bro. This is so organized.
All right. Wait, what were you saying though earlier?
About ZB.
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, I kind of forgot. So I'm just going to make something up right now.
Okay.
So ZB is the name of my cousin. His name is Zion Bulumbot. He's currently developing a method where you insert the last pair in a way where it forces a cross on top. And then from there, you twist all the corners and then do a
Here,
PLL.
wait, let me do a demo. Chat. So, look. If you're like me and don't know any ZB algs, then you just set this up. But what you do is you pair this up, and instead of inserting normal, you sledge to force a cross. And then you do, instead of doing your back lefty soon, you're going to do a standard soon, and that's it.
Good stuff. Good method.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
is it the future, chat?
All right. I'll give
Perhaps.
my opinions. So, as you guys might know, Xuan Yijing just got a 4.32 average, second best in the world.
Wait, really? No, just kidding.
That's crazy.
Wait, people didn't know? Just kidding. But it's crazy. Second best in the world. Yeahyers has been so dominant for so long. He was beating second place by 0.69 of a second. Like, it was absolute
Nice.
crazy domination. And
Wow, what a slow dude.
and Xuan Yi dropped his PR average from 4.7 down to 4.3. And if you look at the stats of the solves, only 2 solves had over 10 TPS. The rest had 8 or 9 TPS. Just showing how efficient his solving style is and how efficient the ZB method is.
Just
And
showing how slow
Yeahyers-
he is at turning. Just how bad he
Yeah.
is. Horrible.
How
1
bad?
star.
He's just slow.
Oh,
I could do better.
Jacob can do better, confirmed. So,
Chat, look. I can do a T-perm.
oh, see? That's
Man.
like
Okay. Sorry,
11
continue.
TPS at least. Jacob is next, Schwan Yijing. So,
So,
where was I going with this? Pretty much, like, he develops turning, right? He becomes world record holder. That's the thought process, because he's already inspecting 3 to 4 pairs every solve, somewhat into EO. His goal is to end up one-licking solves anyways. Like, he's going to be the best in the world. That's what I think. And the only person to rival him is Timon, who also inspects 3 pairs in almost every solve. Also uses ZB, not as comfortable with it, so he's not as good. His recognition time is 0.2 seconds slower. So, is Timon, but he has more experience than Schwan Yijing in competing and just solving in general. He's been solving for 9 years. That's 2 years longer than Schwan Yi's been alive for. So, yeah.
happens to the
That's
best
not
of
even.
us.
That's not even as long as Timon's been cubing. That's as long as he's been competing. So he's been.
Jeez.
So yeah, he's been competing for 9 years. Yeah. And Yeahyers uses the most optimal version of CFOP, free pair, perfect OLO, PLL, and he still has to turn at 15 TPS just to compensate for his high move counts. So not everyone can turn at 15 TPS, so you need to use a better method to get faster times. So I think Schwan Yijing, world record holder, give it a year. Or Timon. Or someone.
Efficiency is just saving everyone. It's just bailing everyone out at this point.
Yeah, except
Okay.
Yeahyers, because...
Except you.
JP, what do you think?
I think ZB is the future of cubing, as we see with like Shwani, like Caden said. But also, I think another person we need to take into consideration is Chishan, right? She just completely dominated the female scene, like out of nowhere. There is no other like girl cuber in the world who even came close to her. So, I think if she continues this, she'll also be like a big inspiration for female cubers, and a lot of like female cubers would get into cubing as well. Not like, because we see cubing is a very male-dominated sport, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot, like with a lot of sports, right?
I was about to say.
it's just male-dominated. But if we see Chishan keeping this up, like she's like almost on the level of Schwan Yi, basically. She's just like a bit slower and sort of overshadowed by him.
Yeah.
But if she can start
older, right?
optimizing stuff,
Like she's
yeah, she is. I think Chishan is older.
27.
Yeah, Chishan is older.
No, I'm pretty sure Chishan's 7 now.
Oh, okay. I just
Pretty
remember
sure
the
they're both
stupid meme because she was a 6-year-old,
6.
right?
Yeah, but now she's... yeah, that's
She's
what I was
6.
thinking, bro.
Now she's
I was
7,
thinking
okay.
meme, bro.
Okay, bro.
To add on to that...
But yeah.
I think... Also, think about it. Number 2 in the world female, Juliet Sebastian, however you say it, she uses full ZBLL, Soon cases included. The 2 fastest female cubers are both full ZBLL users, so it like just shows like how dominant it is. And yeah, I think the only thing that's holding Chishan back is she's a little less efficient than Schwan Yi. And she is inconsistent, like she'll mess up F2Ls or whatever, her comp results aren't as good, and she has slower turning. I guess also she can't predict 4 pairs in inspection, but no one can predict it.
No one
So,
can.
yeah.
No
I
one.
don't
Like,
know.
the only... Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right. So I don't know about ZB, bro. Like honestly, I was thinking about it and I don't know. So hear me out, okay? Hear me out. So what makes like CFOP good?
Wait, you're asking
It's just
Yeah.
ergonomic, probably.
ergonomics.
It's ergonomic. It's easy to look ahead.
Yeah. Look at.
Like, look ahead is the main thing. You can't look ahead into your ZBLL without being very experienced with it. Like, Yeahyers doesn't pause during OLL and PLL because he's able to predict it.
But like, I don't know how much this is true necessarily because I'm not very good at 3x3. But like, if you have last 2 pairs, right? With normal CFOP, you're doing this all pauseless. But with ZB, once you get here, you're doing ZBLS, right? And that's way harder to look ahead into.
Yes. Okay, I do want to say one thing. I talked with Tim on the other day, Pretty much at the highest level, you're not pausing for ZBLS. Like I just learned full ZB, but I'm very inconsistent with it because I literally just learned it a couple days ago. So I'm pausing for ZBLS and ZBLO, but I would say like 1 out of 5 ZBLS, I do it completely pauseless. Like
Really?
I can look ahead perfectly into it, but then the other 4 I have to pause because I'm not.
It just feels like such a high bar to be able to look ahead to that.
I mean, yeah. Are you like looking ahead to the last layer edges at the same time?
Like,
or do you kind of just
mean?
see them and it's like you don't need to pause?
What do you mean? Like I see them and I don't need to pause?
So when you're doing last pair, are you?
Okay.
No, when you're doing second to last pair, are you tracking both your F2L pair and your last layer edges, or just your F2L
yeah, like
and then seeing
these two right here? This would be easy to look ahead to, right?
Yeah.
And then you could
usually
just
when
go
there's
straight
2
into
edges
ZB.
at the top, if there's an even number, 2, 4, or 0, it's super easy to look ahead. But if there's only 1 edge in the top, it is more difficult, but you are still able to look ahead to it. And
okay,
what were we saying, Jacob?
Sorry. So and then I was thinking, so ZBLL is like just slightly worse than PLL, right? So we can kind of eliminate those two.
Yeah.
So, and I was just wondering, like, and OLL algs are probably a little better than ZBLS algs. I don't know if that's necessarily true. But if that's the case, then the only difference is the pair versus the pause, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well, okay.
I don't know.
I
if
have thoughts on that.
algs is worth the difference there.
Okay, I'll give you an example. The shortest a PLL can get is an A perm or a U perm, which those are still pretty I mean, you can do them fast, but not like, I don't know. They're not like insanely lucky or whatever. Like when you get them, you're not like, oh yes, I got a U perm, unless if you're like doing OH or whatever. But like, example, you get to ZBLL and you get this case right here. This case is like insane, like 0.5, 0.6. That one's like equivalent to like getting like an OL skip and then a U perm because it's just so good. And and since ZBLL has so many algs, over 400 algs, you have like so many algs, like between 50 and 100 algs that are like super good. But then you also have 50 to 100 algs that just suck. So it evens out.
Okay. So I guess it gives you more of an opportunity for luck then as well, which is
I think so. Yeah, because like look, I don't know if you guys, I just broke down Xuanyi's solves. His solves, like he got good ZBs on almost all of them. Well, the 4 or the 3 solves that were good. So his 3.9, his 3.89, and his 4.02, they all had good ZBLLs. And those ones I wouldn't say are like particularly like, I guess, rare. You get them pretty regularly, but they're just really good cases. So, yeah. Sorry, okay. I just yapped right there about.
So wait. So you are not pausing for ZB at all, like at the top level. ZBLS is pauseless.
Yeah, at the top level. ZBLL, on the other hand, you're pausing for at least like 0.5.
0.5.
Actually, one second. I got this spreadsheet from Timon the other day about his ZB pausing versus Xuanyi's pausing.
Oh, interesting.
Here. I don't know if I can throw it up on screen. I'll throw it up on screen for the podcast. Let's see if I can send it in the group text. But it's pretty cool, actually, to look at it. So they're actually barely pausing at all.
Okay.
Like, here, I sent it in the group text, if you guys can see it. So for the U cases, Timon is pausing for 0.4, and Xuanyi is pausing for 0.3. Okay. And then for the anti-SIM cases, Timon is pausing for almost 0.6, and Xuanyi is pausing for almost 0.4. So Timon's not as comfortable with the anti-SIM cases as Xuanyi, but Xuanyi's average is like around 0.3, and Timon's is like around 0.4 to 0.5.
I think part of that is that Xuanyi's been using ZB for a lot longer, right?
Yes. He's so much more comfortable than with the method than Timon.
So do you think over time that pause will go down more?
Actually, I think so. Because I've had solves, I don't know, JP, have you experienced this, where you actually start seeing the ZB from last slot? Like,
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
if you get something like just a 3 mover, you can actually sometimes start to see the ZBLL.
Yeah.
And that's only going to improve with more solves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I say 3 years, you're going to have last slots where you're like, it's going to be something like this, where it's not like a good alg, but you're going to get so used to seeing it that you'll see the blocks and you'll just know what
you could just
PLL is.
predict.
Or
Yeah.
what ZBLL, not PLL. So,
Okay.
JP,
So-
what are your thoughts?
It's a very high learning curve for sure. Like Timon, he's not that used to it, correct?
Yeah.
So he's still slower than Xuanyi. Xuanyi's been using it for what? As long as he's been cubing or something?
Yeah.
Like he learned it instead of CFOP basically.
Yeah. I don't think he actually learned full OLL.
He didn't.
He just
oh wow.
straight to full, like,
Imagine.
legitimately, bro.
Dude, that's crazy.
No,
Because if you look
The
at
next
his older
Stu Cube meme.
self, he didn't know ZBLS. He would just do 2-look OLL, but then for the second look, he would just do ZBLL. So he would just solve the pair, force across, and then just, it was crazy.
That's
when
crazy.
the number of Olos you know is less than your age.
That's insane. Dude, that's wild. Oh, man.
Me when I'm 60.
Okay. Wow.
Giving us 16 is crazy. I had something I was gonna say about it, but yeah, I don't remember.
Oh dear, what the, what just happened? Oh, so I had my phone propped up against my computer that was recording, right?
Mm-hmm.
and
my computer is touchscreen, so the phone touched it and zoomed in.
He's like zoomed in on your face. He's like,
Yeah.
That would be the coolest edit ever.
It's gonna be perfect for the episode.
So, also, I think that pause will also probably go away even more with how far they're planning an inspection, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, one thing I was gonna say, one looking 3x3 is also the future of cubing, in my opinion.
Really?
And I think
Remember when that was an
I don't
April
know if I
Fool's
see
J-Perm
one looking
video?
ever happen. Like,
Ever?
if I'm realistic.
I mean, I've talked with a bunch of people. I mean, I keep bringing this up, but like, it's honestly fascinating to talk with Tim on, because the way he views just stuff is like at a whole different level. He's like, yeah, I see myself like one looking in like end of 2025. I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but he said something crazy like that. Because he predicts like up until EO pretty like regularly. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how soon it'll happen. Xuanyi's predicting EO pretty easily, as long as he does simple solutions. Once he predicts ZBLL, that's when he's going to be like global sub 4.
But I don't know how much this is like, because again, I'm not very good at 3x3, but like, so they're planning up till EO every solve, so they can probably see ZBLS then, right?
Yeah.
But
Theoretically.
It's tracing
Theoretically,
Yeah.
It's tracing an additional 8 pieces with orientation for 4 and permutation for all 8 throughout the whole ZBLS plus your whole solution.
Yeah.
That's like, because it's just exponentially harder as you go, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know if I can see that happening.
Dude.
I might just be a hater.
I mean, one of the themes in cubing over the years is this is not possible, and then it ends up being possible.
That's true.
Right? You see people like sub 3 is impossible. Remember that Wired video? That's gonna age so much, bro. It's gonna age so much. Why solving a Rubik's Cube in under 3 seconds is almost impossible. And then Max Park comes along, 3.13. Next thing you know, we'll have sub 3, and then they're gonna have to take down that video forever.
Yeah. What's also crazy is Felix Zemdegs didn't think a sub 4 average was possible. He thought world record might be 1 sub 4. We are not sub 4, sub 5. We are so close to sub 4 now. Like, the amount of sub 5 averages are insane.
I guess that is true.
I also want to give an example for what you're talking about, Jacob. So obviously they're not just going to go directly from planning like I guess 4 pairs in EO into directly planning ZB, they're going to take baby steps, right? So they're going to start by taking a look at their ZBLS case. So like you have this one.
Yeah.
And then I stare at this for like 3 minutes and try and predict it just from the ZBLS. And then once I can do that, I'm going to like start doing it from like 2 pairs away. And then once I'm really proficient at that, do it from 3 pairs away. And then start doing it from cross or whatever. So
Okay. So
I think that's how the progression works.
Are you kind of saying that you're less tracing the pieces and more knowing how your ZBLS algs affect them?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like 2x2 looking.
Yeah.
So, JP, like what you were saying with, like the people saying, "Oh, I never thought this was possible" and all that. I've been noticing another kind of trend thing that like I was kind of thinking about last night. With the "I never thought this was possible," also the "I never thought this was viable," like a method. Like you see all these things that have such a small payoff and such a huge amount of effort that everyone's like, "No, this will never be important," and they're all like they're all happening now. Like soon ZB, right? Everyone thought not worth it. Now it's worth it.
Everyone said it wasn't worth it, and I was like, okay, if you're at the best in the world, then obviously you need to spend hours making those minor improvements. So I always thought stuff like that was kind of dumb.
It's like in Summoning Salt's videos. You see those speedrunners, like they're gonna go through every single optimization, every single little optimization they could find. Like if it's like a 2-hour speedrun and it saves 5 seconds, they'll go for it.
Oh yeah.
Like they'll take the risk.
Even if it saves like 3 seconds.
So like another example is on Scube TCLO. Like I was a hater at first. Because what you can do is you have this TCLO case. It's just 4 moves that fast to an NS case every time, right? So what's the point in learning 1,008 cases when you could just do this, right? But the thing is, it's those minor improvements. At some point, you have nothing else to improve on, and point 1 is worth 1,000 algs.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna say the cubing community. I guess when we compare, I've always thought of it this way: the cubing community compared to other communities, I feel like we're like a very like. We treat. I know it's like obviously a hobby, but we treat it more like a hobby than like a sport. Where like video games, speedruns, they treat it like a sport. They do every little optimization. As the cubing community, we're pretty lazy. Like, let's be honest. Like, we could be doing so much more, and instead we do hours of solves. I am so guilty of this. I do solves and solves and solves instead of practicing inspection, practicing ZB.
No, not even being deliberate.
And I feel like if there was more of a reward for being best in the world, as in money, fame, or just anything, people would be more motivated. Let's say speedrunning. You can make money from speedrunning, so people are really motivated to improve. If there was a more of a rewarding system in cubing, I think we would actually see more improvement, more of a grind.
I agree with that. I think what you were saying before about just solves and stuff, I think that's what makes China so good, right? Because they have coaches who make them do all that deliberate. Like, they don't have a choice. It's like, you do this deliberate or I won't coach you anymore.
Exactly.
So
it's like, it's
just so much more effective.
It's super good. And I would also want to say, just like coaches in general, like, okay, like, I'm obviously not world class. What?
Shameless plug.
Yeah, I know we're coming.
Wow.
To this, but,
okay,
hear me out. So I'm obviously not like world class yet, but I do coaching, and one of my coaching clients 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. We did our first session. He's averaging like 50 to 45 seconds. And he also bought Timon's course. So he was willing to invest the money and the time into this hobby. And he just learned to cube like a month or 2 ago. So he invested probably a couple $100 and decided to just go all in. Bought some sessions with me, bought the course. And within 2 weeks, he cut off 20 seconds of his solving time. He is almost sub 30, and he just started cubing like a month or 2 ago. And The thing is, he's like one of the best people I've ever coached, because you tell him to do something and he just like learns it immediately. He just soaks up all in the information. He's not lazy, yeah, exactly. And he just doesn't do solves. Like, I created a schedule, and I'm like, hey, how's your schedule going? He's like, it's going good. I follow it exactly to a T. I'm like, dang, that explains your improvement. I've never seen anyone improve as fast as him, and it's really, really cool.
I've seen one person improve faster than him, bro.
You said what?
I see one person improve faster than him, bro. JP. Like, he chooses an event and goes on an arc, and then he's just good.
Bruh.
Dude,
yeah, it's actually
exactly.
This has a purpose, JP. I wanted to ask you if you do a lot of this like deliberate stuff, and that's like what gets you good at every event.
Oh yeah, deliberate stuff. So when I went on my Megaminx arc, like, you remember that I went from 1 minute 30 to like sub 50.
Yeah.
Well, part of that is like one of the most important parts of Megaminx solving is like slow solves. Like, you actually just have to sit around with your Megaminx and you just have to experiment with stuff. It's actually so boring, but it's really helpful. So like you're gonna be doing, you could spend like hours just on one S2L pair, basically, just finding different ways to pair it up. And I think that's part of the reason why I like got so fast is because of no, honestly, you could spend hours trying to look for anything on Megaminx, but that's beside the point. So basically, that deliberate practice is very important. Like, another thing I did was I watched a lot of videos. I mean, that's pretty much how I improve at anything, basically. I just go on YouTube, find something, and then I just watch it through. I just binge the whole thing. And then I would have a cube with me. For example, when I was learning how to be better at 3x3, I would just watch JPerm for hours on end. I like his advanced F2L, his F2L tricks. I would just watch everything, and then I would put it all into my solves. See, because if you're solving mindlessly and you're not thinking about what you're doing, you're just gonna not improve at all, right? You'll exactly create bad habits. So for me in Megaminx, it's just learning exactly what I need to do right away, and then practicing those things. It's not I just go out on my own out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I have to know what to look for in S2L and things like that. And in terms of algorithms, I also learned like for look last layer within the first few days of actually getting better at Megaminx, and I'd say that had a huge payoff. I mean, if I didn't know for look last layer and I was still using beginners, I'd probably still be fast, but not as fast as I am. Mm-hmm. So it's making commitments like that and actually being deliberate about what you practice that's actually going to get you better at cubing.
Yeah. I'm going to bring this back to 3x3 actually. So, example, just like you said, I think it's crazy how many people don't learn full OLL. They're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to become sub 20, sub 15. I'm like, do you know full OLL? They're like, no. I'm like, you can't expect to be good without putting in the work. Yes, there are people that are sub 15 without full OLL, but those are people who spend 8 years grinding without full OLL instead of just spending a month or two learning it and then like developing the skill of it. I feel like so many people get it wrong. They think, oh, I gotta practice a lot, and then when I'm at a certain level, then I can learn this. It's the other way around. You practice a lot until you get to a certain level, or you learn a lot until you get to a certain level. Like, so many people are like, okay, you don't have to learn full OL until you're sub 20 or whatever. I say start learning full OL as soon as possible. Get it into your muscle memory. Who cares if it makes you worse? When you become sub 20, you'll go from sub 20 to sub 15 way faster than the guy next to you that doesn't know full OLL. So I love the approach that you take to events, JP, because it's very systematic, it's very smart. And I would also like to apply it to ZBLL. So many people are like, okay, I'm just going to learn like the U cases, and then they like don't learn anything else. Or they only learn a couple of the U cases. If you only learn a couple of them, you're pretty much screwing yourself over, because let's say you get a case you don't know, you're pausing, realize you don't know the case, and then you just get a worse time. Where if you just put in the work, you would just be so much faster. So yeah. Also,
What
sidebar.
Go on.
Oh yeah, my bad. I was texting Luke Greiser, and I also heard this advice
You got Luke
from
Rice's
Tim.
phone number?
Casual
Discord,
flex
not
right
phone
there.
number. That'd be cool. No, his Discord. He said, I asked him if he's gonna learn ZBLS, and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna like grind them all out in the next week. I'm like, dude, that's so smart. And I was like, I also did that like a couple days ago. It's really smart. He's like, yeah, it's definitely the best way to learn. Just learn all the algs and then spend months practicing them down. And what's funny is a couple days earlier, I heard the same advice from Tim on. He said, the best way to learn algs is just alg cram, just put them into your brain, and then spend like multiple weeks perfecting them. So, yeah, that's the best way to improve in my opinion. That's what top cubers do.
So, I have a confession to make. I'm kind of guilty of most of the things we're hating on here.
That's crazy.
So, for 3x3, what I always do is I'll like decide, hey, I want to get good at 3x3, right? And then I do some solves, and I'm bad again. So I do a bunch of solves to get back to where I was. Now I'm just doing solves, and I'm not doing anything. And then I'm like, man, I gotta work on my look ahead. So what do? More solves.
Bro, that's so real.
And I don't learn any ZB or anything. Which,
Well, so like I'm talking like I'm
Wow.
so productive with my time, but here's the reality. I pick up my cube, do some solves. Why am I averaging 7? So I grind out hundreds of solves. Okay, finally I'm sub 7 again. And then I'm like, let's learn some ZB. Then I'm not sub 7, so then I just grind out solves for months. And it's like I never end up learning ZB because I'm grinding solves. So
I'm in the same spot. I do. I have over 100k cube solves. I think maybe 150 at this point.
holy crap.
And I still haven't learned fully G2.
You dedicated your life to skew, man.
Dude, that is what?
It's 130 hours. It isn't that
You know-
bad. I
hey,
should just
Jacob,
know
you know
it
what-
by now.
You know what we're doing after the podcast, okay? Me and JP, we're gonna create some like type of personal training plan for you, bro. You're gonna get cracked at 3x3.
Oh, yo.
Okay,
Dude,
ready
you're
for
gonna
this?
go mad 3x3 arc, bro.
Dude, with this T-burn potential, I'm
Might be sub 30.
Look at this T-burn.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, for that, you should just force T-perm every solve.
Yeah, exactly. I'll solve it into T-burn.
Exactly.
And then do T-burn.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or use CF top. CF
I've
top.
seen that, yeah.
Oh,
Cracked.
The like TPS cross F2L OLO. No. When is it? It's
Cross
before
F2L OLL
T-perm OLO. YOLO.
T-perm
do a
OLL.
T-perm and then oh,
Like, bro got like 5.5 using that.
yeah.
The funny thing is,
Okay, so going back to like
when Timon
going back
used
to
that for
deliberate
himself-
practice.
Wait, what were we saying?
Oh. Okay, so going back to deliberate practice, I was gonna say another example was one of my friends here. You guys know Jesse, right? I've made like one video on him. He used to hold state record with like 8.01. He doesn't plan his first pair. Like he has a scrambled cube, right? One funny part is he'll be warming up for a full minute and then he'll just look at it for 2 seconds and then start his solve because he doesn't plan first pair. And he's like almost sub 8, or he is sub 8. Yeah, he's sub 8. He doesn't plan first pair. It's crazy to me how fast people can get without planning their first pair. Like, just imagine if you started out planning your first pair. Jesse would probably be as fast as me at that point.
But
Like,
what's funny is
I'm lucky, bro. Didn't plan first pair.
what's funny is if you didn't plan first pair, like you know how to plan first pair, obviously. But if you did some solves right now without planning first pair, you would still be faster than him. The reason why is because you have you have more experience with just first pair in general. So you don't you could not plan first pair and still be faster than him.
So
Yeah.
similar to that, what you guys are saying, I want to bring up something we were talking about the other day.
Okay.
We were talking about using bad methods and bragging because you're okay with a bad method, and I feel like
Yeah.
this kind of ties in. So
Yeah.
saying just learn the good method because when you're good with a bad method, you're just reinforcing those same bad habits the whole time.
And it doesn't translate whatsoever.
Right. So, like, with your
Yeah.
friend, he was good with not planning first pair, but he's just reinforcing not planning first pair. It's gonna be
Exactly.
Gonna make it even worse when he switches, right? And so
Yeah.
just switch.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop.
I don't know if you know who Michael Lee is, Jacob, but JP does know. So me and Michael, we're really close, and he's a cuber in Washington.
We're like
just got a
this.
sub 7 average. What? Yeah, we're like this. We're type, and just like that. No, he just got a sub 7 average, but crazy thing is he only does white cross. And, like, I've told him multiple times, bro, switch to yellow, you'll be so much faster. And there's some solves where yellow will be crazy, and he'll, like, get a good time on yellow cross. But he just doesn't want to switch. I don't know his exact reason, probably just because, like, he doesn't feel like it or whatever. But, like, oh, I'm not trashing on Michael. Michael's, like, has a faster result than me in comp, single and average. But I just think it's, like, insane. Because, and also, for the longest time, he didn't predict first pair. Like, he didn't even learn how to predict first pair until being sub 7. So, yeah. And when he started predicting first pair, he said he was slower, which doesn't make sense, but I guess he just wasn't used to it.
On that, I think at some point when you're, like, fast, you can have a little bit of leniency with that based on just things that work better for you once you know your solving style. Like, for example, Yeahang, right? He's never going to use ZB, despite, as we've just established, it being technically better. Because it's just not worth switching for him where he is, right?
If he switched to ZB, he would be so slow. Like, it would actually be, and it would take years. Like, honestly,
He'd be almost as fast as me.
Or like...
He would be too deep. He's too deep in the hole. He can't escape pretty much.
Like, he uses
which is
turning
fine.
that
He
no
locked
one
himself
else
in the
can pull
CFOP
off,
cage.
right? And technically it's probably not OO, but if he switches off that now, it's going to be worse for him. I think once you're at a certain speed, you can kind of justify some of those choices, like wide only maybe. If you can
Philip
really
Wire.
justify it. Yeah, exactly. But I think you got to get fast first and stop using that to cope.
I know. Literally. The cope. Oh, I didn't get sub 7 because I use white cross. Oh, I didn't get sub 7 because I don't use ZB. Like, bro, then why don't you? Stupid. It's a dumb cope. But what I do respect is if someone says, oh, I got, like, a bad solve because I was, like, practicing something. Like, I do respect that. Like, if someone is like, oh, I'm not used to using full ZB, so I didn't get a good solve. Because, like, at least they're trying. And at least...
slow.
At least they're practicing the method instead of just like, oh no, okay, for this solve I'm just going to use normal soon. Because for the longest time I knew soon ZB, but I would still use normal soon in my solves because it was faster. But one day I just decided, no more normal soon.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that one too. I like on Scube, there's a lot of weird finger tricks, right? And sometimes I'll do something worse that like I know is worse. But, like, I'm doing it anyway because I'm scared of dropping the cube and getting a bad time in my CS timer session, which, who cares?
I know, bro. It's like, and then when you get it in comp, it's like, oh, you're for sure going to do the bad way instead of the good way.
Yeah, and, like, I have PTSD from this one time that I dropped this case in comp, and I haven't been able to use the, like, finger trick that is better for me ever since. Because it goes, like, it's got, like, all these... No, wait, that's the safe one. It's got all those flick turns.
There's a safe and a good one.
And like I like tried to flick and I like dropped it on like the last solve where I needed a good one once. And so now it's like scary for me to do all the flicks, even though they're faster. I don't know.
So I do taekwondo and Oh, go on.
No, you go.
Okay, so in taekwondo, I do taekwondo, right?
Yeah.
And my masters, he's always telling us to practice at 100%, right? And he's always telling us to practice good as well, because his reasoning is if you practice like 20%, and then in the actual like fighting match you say, okay, I'm gonna go 100%. The thing is, if you practice at 20%, you'll end up going at 20% in the actual match. So that's why he's always telling us, if you practice at 100% all the time, then you'll go 100% in your matches. It's gonna make you a better fighter, right? If you only fight at 10% and tell yourself, oh, I'll just up it up when I get in the actual match, you're not making yourself better. You're just tricking yourself into thinking you're better. But actually, you're just worse than the person who actually practices 100%.
Yep.
So in cubing 2, you actually need to practice deliberately and know what you're doing and do it good, so that when you get to the actual competition, you're an actually good cuber.
Yep.
Also,
Yeah.
Make sure you stack Matt so you don't DNF your first 2 official averages.
Bro.
Nerd.
Who would do that? Probably some slow cuber from Washington that mains 5x5
Who would
blindfolded.
that be?
Yeah.
But
Huh.
JP, on that point you were saying, I like that as well, because if you're practicing at like 100, then, because let's say you're practicing at 20, you're not pushing yourself and you're not going to expand, right? If you're practicing at 100, soon that won't be 100 anymore, and you can go higher, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You can go 110%.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you'll have more endurance, right? You'll be able to do it better because you'll have built up more from just doing that. And I think that
So-
also applies to cubing. Like, when I'm practicing, sometimes I'll like just turn like way more than I should be, right? Just to like try and get my capacity up higher. Which usually doesn't work, but it's worth doing in practice,
it'll
right?
help, for sure. So, you guys remember the video that Cube had made with Maddie about how to turn faster? Same-
No,
it's-
tell me about it.
Did you not watch it?
Maybe I did. I don't remember.
So pretty much in the video, Maddie talks about the main thing he would do is make his cubes as loose as possible while still being able to control it. And then once he gets faster, he would make it even looser. So his cubes are like super loose compared to most people. And his turn speed is like really good. Like he has an 18 flat PLL time attack, which is really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Especially compared to a lot of other cubers. So, yeah. It's the same thing. You want to go at 100% speed for TPS, and then you can build your TPS from there.
So that's actually really interesting, because I saw this thing. There's this scuber out there he's been posting like he's posted 2 AO50s on YouTube with a super tight dry cube to try and get him ready for turning in comp. And it's interesting that you said like to do it with a super loose cube so that you could push your TPS. I'm wondering what you think the balance is between getting used to accurate turning with a tight cube versus pushing fast turning with a loose cube.
I think it varies person to person. Obviously, someone like Maddie, it's better to have the loose cubes. But I feel like for most people, their cube actually feels looser in competition because they're more nervous. So getting used to fast cubes. But if you feel like your cube for some reason gets slower in competition, then get used to accuracy. Timon said, European Championships. He said in the warm-up area, he felt his cube speed up for no particular reason. Maybe it was because he was tired or nervous, but that ended up making him not perform as he wanted in the finals. He still won, but it's like things like that, his cube could speed up. So, yeah, it's good to practice that. Well, sweet, guys. I think that's a wrap for the episode. That was fun.
Woo!
Dude,
Yeah.
we did it.
Yeah, you're
Episode 1.
good.
We yapped, bro. We yapped.
Bro, that was
We
good.
yapped.
We didn't even need topics. We just
We
literally
yapped.
yapped.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We yap yours.
Yap.
The title, it's gonna yap your.
Yeah.
The title's gonna have to do something with ZB. Get the clickbait going.
Yeah, for sure.
Put Yeahyers on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
Wait. Get Yeahyers.
Put Yeahyers- this thumbnail.
To us. Pretend like he's talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretend he's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeahyers speaks.
Oh, wow.
Yeahyers over to my house for a podcast.